What is up, guys? Welcome back to our channel. My name is Emma and I am the Urban Botanist. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make your own holiday wreath. This is actually going to be the first time I'm making my own wreath myself, so I'm excited to get started. The things that you're going to need, what I'm at least working with today, is only fresh and real greenery because I just love the smell of real greenery. I picked this up at Lowe's. I picked up a lot of the other stuff at Home Depot and Walmart, but I'm going to be using a white pine for my wreath. You also want to make sure that you pick up one of these kind of wire structures. I believe I got this at the dollar store, so super affordable and convenient. I'm also going to be using juniper berry, which I'm so excited to use, and I've never actually seen juniper berry like this up close, and you really get that super aromatic smell when you're smelling it. So nice. I'm also going to be working in some beautiful eucalyptus. So those are the ingredients that I'm going to be working towards with my wreath. When it comes to actually attaching all of these materials to your wreath, I'm going to be using this twist tie material that, again, I got at the dollar store. Super easy. I'm going to be able to reuse a lot of this too when the gardening season starts back up again in the springtime. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pre-cut a bunch of maybe 5 to 6 inch pieces. It's maybe a little bit longer, but I'm going to have these pre-cut because it'll just make my life so much easier when I'm actually tying these little pieces onto my frame itself. So having them pre-cut, set off to the side is a good first step. You're also going to want to make sure that you have a good pair of scissors when it comes to actually trimming and cutting off any pieces of the greenery that you don't want to use in your frame. Other stuff that I also have are just little fun pieces of decor. I've got some ribbon, I've got, you know, a nice little bird, some gold leaf, I've got some other just fun groovy stuff. This is really an opportunity for you to get creative yourself. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm actually going to start laying out some of my branches just over the actual framing itself to see how much am I actually going to need and seeing which pieces fit in the right spots. I think I'll start with these kind of smaller medium pieces because they're a lot easier to bend. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trim off this big part of the branch here because it's just a little bit bulky and, as you can see, super hard to get through, but it's kind of messing with my whole vibe. So I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm going to take some of my twine and I'm going to just start twist tying it to the wreath. You got to just start somewhere. So I'm actually going to go to the biggest and strongest parts of the branch and twist tie those pieces down. I'm going to just cut off any excess. I'll use that again. You can see, you can really see that twist tie there. But what I do is I'm just going to pull out some of the needles to kind of cover that twist tie. Now you can't really see it, which is nice. And sort of the trick to covering those little points is also layering. So we're going to be putting a whole other layer of branches on top of this. So really, I'm just trying to bend the branch so that it kind of covers and follows the same shape as the wreath. And I'm really just trying to twist tie the branch itself and not so much the needles, because the needles are the foliage and we want those needles to be free from the twist ties. And why I like using these twist ties is you can very easily untie and retie on spots if you found that it didn't really work out so well for you the first time. Good start. So really what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these white pine needles as my base for the wreath, and then I'm going to add my secondary feature elements to it afterwards. So that's going to be my eucalyptus, my juniper berry. So I really like to use any of these really long, lush looking evergreens as your base for your wreath, and then you can add layers afterwards. So you can see this is the first branch that I've added, and there's some gaping spots here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take smaller branches like this one, and I'm going to start filling in those gaps. There's kind of a gap right here, so I'm going to go ahead and just put another piece in there. And basically you're just slowly filling in your actual frame and twist tying all those pieces on as you need to. So you can see that part is really filled in now. This piece right here is kind of odd and sticking out, and I don't really want to force bend it too much there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to snip it off. Working for me, I'm going to cut it, but I'm going to use it right there. I think that it's better suited to go and kind of fill in this empty spot right here. So feel free, you know, if there's a little branch that's kind of sticking out, poking out, not quite where you want it to, you can chop it, give it a cut, and tie it on somewhere else. Another thing you can do is pre-twist tie some of your smaller filler pieces. It's gonna be easy for me to go in, position it where I want it to go, and then simply tie it onto the frame. For this second large piece that I'm going to be using, it's really quite robust, and you can see the end is really thick and just obvious. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work this one backwards. So I'm gonna put the nice, bushy, fluffy side kind of where I started my last end, right here, because that's going to help in covering up the base of the branches. And then up here, I'll be able to tuck in that big base of the branch in the fluffier, more foliage side up at the top. This is going to require quite a bit of bending, so don't be afraid to bend. This is why it's always handy to have those pre-cut wires close by, because they're ready to go and you don't have to worry about having multiple sets of hands cutting and twisting and holding. So that's why I say to definitely have some pre-cut wire close by. And any wire will work, any sort of flower wire, any kind of just strong and ideally green wire. I'm trying not to have all of my branches go the same way. I'm kind of doing them this way and that way so that I'm able to use these bushy parts to cover up any of the brown stockier bits that are showing. I'm just gonna fill in some of these gaping spots, but I can also do that with some of my nicer foliage. So I'm gonna start adding, oh my God, I love how that eucalyptus looks. This is a silver dollar eucalyptus. How absolutely gorgeous is that? And you know what, I'm not actually gonna need to twist tie it too much. I'm just going to kind of stick the branches into my wreath and try to secure them as best I can, but I'll just secure a couple little spots so they don't go flying away on me. So you can now either fill in any of the gaping spots that you see with more of your white pine foliage, or I'm just gonna go over and start adding my pieces of juniper berry and my eucalyptus. I would say it's really just about having the right materials. You know, this white pine was absolutely perfect. It's gorgeous. It worked amazing. It's looking pretty good, not gonna lie. If I can do this, literally anybody can. You kind of just have to get really good at hiding the wire, and that's really it, is twist tying and filling. Twist tie, fill, twist tie, fill. I even just love the simple green, like that alone just is stunning. I'm gonna start adding a couple little pieces of this juniper berry. I think that's gonna look really nice. I'm gonna just break that down a little bit, just cutting it into small pieces that I like.